Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. I've got all three of my Kindles sitting here because we got some pretty crazy news that the Kindle Oasis is no longer available. If you try to go on Amazon and you try to search or buy the Kindle Oasis, it just says currently unavailable. So it is finally the end of the era of the Kindle Oasis, which actually might not be the worst thing, because to me that signals that Amazon is working on something else. In this little comparison video, I was going to do one anyway, so it just so happens that the Oasis has been retired for now, at least. I wanted to do a little comparison between the Paperwhite, the Oasis, and the Kindle Fire HDX, because this one is no longer available either, but you can get other versions of the Fire. But I just wanted to show you a little bit of a comparison and why I actually think the Paperwhite is the best of the three after trying all of them. So sit back, relax, and let me go through a few of these with you. I'm gonna start with the Kindle Fire just because it was the first one to come out. The first thing you're gonna notice about the Fire is that it is very fingerprint prone, very dust prone, and it is more like a tablet, like a little mini iPad. You can see on here it says Amazon, it has some volume buttons here, and then a power button. It was really and is really nice to hold in the hand, I will say, because it's just very comfortable. It is kind of heavy though, I would say, compared to the Oasis. It's a little bit heavier. We'd have to look up the exact weights, but the Paperwhite is a paperweight compared to them. So I would say the Paperwhite is definitely the lightest of the three and the easiest to hold. But this one had some really cool features because it was very much like an iPad. What you do is you actually click that little button on the back and then you just slide. And what's interesting here is that it kind of has this little carousel. This was one of the biggest things I remember when I first got it, that it had the carousel. And I had the original Kindle as well before I got this one, but I did give it to a friend. So they've been using it ever since then. I think they still use it. Maddie, you'll have to let me know if you're still using that Kindle or not. The cool thing about this one is that it has different apps on it as well. So all Kindles connect to Goodreads, but this one you can actually really go look in your Goodreads as if you were on a browser. It has your different samples, and it really just has a fluid motion throughout the carousel. You can also a newsstand, audiobooks, web, photos, docs, and then you can also just download other apps. You can see shop, games, apps, books, music. So this, I want to say, was really mostly like a mini iPad. And this, when you're reading it, let me find a book that I've definitely got on here. These are all samples, but let's just take a look at one. You can see it downloading right now. When you click on it, it gives you the little about the book from Goodreads, just like the others do. And the big difference with the Fire is that it is in color. The other two, these have the e-ink technology, and people would ask me, well, if you have this one, why did you upgrade to the Oasis? Well, the reason I upgraded to the Oasis in the beginning was because it is waterproof and it had the e-ink technology. Plus it was a little bit easier to hold even than this one. So I'll get to the reason why I upgraded there in a second. But this one was in color and it looks gorgeous. But when you're reading it, you can... Oh, this is really cool. I haven't read this book yet, so I'm getting distracted, but it still gives you your reading speed, your percentage, just like the other ones do, but it didn't have the e-ink technology, and I found my eyes getting really tired while looking at this one. And the brightness, let's see what this one, I haven't used this one in a while. You can change the font, everything else. Well, look, they're like trying to get us to buy the book for $11.99. The benefit of having a Kindle also is that a lot of the books are just less expensive via Kindle, and you can read these samples on any of them. You can change the font, which I always love Bookerly, which is the Kindle default font. You can see on here it's giving me a book suggestion. Sorry, you're getting the reflection of the camera. Let's see if I can avoid that. You can change the brightness. Oops, now I'm bumping the camera trying to avoid it. You can change the brightness, but in my opinion, it just wasn't quite enough to be able to, and you can do auto brightness on or off, and I have it on right now, or else it would give me a little toggle to be able to change it. See how that just changed, but it has auto brightness on. I just felt like oh my gosh, there's so many buttons on this one. I just felt like this one was hurting my eyes a little bit. But the cool thing about this one is that you can watch Netflix and different things. You can play games on this one, which is why I kept it. I just don't love reading on it. I don't prefer it because it does hurt my eyes a little bit because it doesn't have the e-ink technology. So I got this one in 2000, I want to say 15. And that was, again, the Kindle HDX. But then I upgraded to the Kindle Oasis because I had a job, a summer job, where I spent a lot of time around water, and I was always bringing this to work to read during breaks or just whenever. And I also wanted to be able to bring it to the pool when I was just relaxing over the summer or things like that. And I know a lot of people read in the bath, so a lot of people wouldn't want to drop this in the bathtub, drop this in the ocean or the pool, wherever they are. So that was a big selling point, and the way they called it the Oasis. And it was also the Cadillac of the Kindles at the time because it had these page turn buttons, and it also has this kind of ergonomic grip on it. You can see I've got a case on it right now, and I've got a couple of stickers that didn't fit in the back of the Paperwhite. It is really easy to hold. It flips back and forth. So let me go ahead and I'll show you on this one. So the little power button on here is at the top. And what's cool about all the Kindles is that if you've read to a different page on a different device or on Audible, then it will sync to that and it'll say like, do you want to go forward to page 393? Then you can go forward to that page. So it's pretty cool that it knows and it kind of keeps up with it. So if you happen to be reading on different devices, like I have a friend who has a kid's Kindle that she actually takes with her on trips because she's a flight attendant and she didn't want to have a bigger device with her. So she actually bought a kid's Kindle and she uses that to read. But then she also has an older, I don't know what her other one is. It might just be a regular Kindle or a Paperwhite, but she has an older one and then it kind of syncs where she was when she last left off. So that's pretty cool. Just another little feature in there. But let me show you the flip. So right now I'm holding it on the right side. If I flip it and I want to hold it on the left because maybe I flipped over and I don't know, a lot of people read in bed with their Kindles. So if you flip over to the other side and you want to hold with the other hand, the text flips. And that's something that I really kind of wish the Paperwhite had, and it doesn't, which is probably the only feature that I really wish it had. The battery life on this wasn't great. Let's see. Let's close that out. Where are we on the battery? 96%. Okay, actually not terrible. I reset this device and it actually seems like it got better. But as you can see, once I reset it, I lost some of the titles and they'll repopulate once this has time to sync. So I'm not too worried about those. And then some of them are library books that I returned. So that's why you will see that there aren't covers. The big benefit of the Oasis was that it was waterproof. It was really easy to hold and it just looked really, really, really nice. Again, the battery life was never that great. I feel like it started out okay, but then it really started to dwindle. And then by the time that I decided to, as you guys saw last summer, at the very end of May, upgrade to the Paperwhite, the battery was terrible. And I think I even said in that video, I was getting like 30 minutes out of it before I had to charge again. That was really kind of what was messing with me with the Oasis. And then I did some research after I got this one, like months after, and I recently figured out how to restore it, and then I've actually been using it a bit more. And so now I feel like I have like a collector's edition device. I got this one in 2017, I think. So it's definitely a few years old. And with the reset, it definitely helped with the battery. So I will be keeping this one safe since they're no longer selling it. The Oasis was a really, really, really nice device. You can see this one actually charges with the same charger as the Kindle Fire HDX. And it does have that e-ink technology. This one has the e-ink technology and it's a little bit thicker, but it charges with a USB-C. Let's see if I can hold both of these at the same time. So you can kind of see the thickness there and see that the Paperwhite is a bit thicker and that there is such a weird angle, kind of grip on the Oasis. And then as you can see, I flipped it upside down so the cover's flipped. And on this one, the covers do not flip. However, The reason I think the Paperwhite is actually the best is because you can really customize it and you can kind of give it most of the features that this one has. Now, this one I haven't dropped in water or had any extreme water issues with, but supposedly it was waterproof up to a certain depth or amount of water. So that was, again, the big benefit here. But Kindles, I will say, are pretty resilient overall. Like, my mom had a situation where her cat knocked her, she just has a regular Kindle, her cat knocked her regular Kindle into the bathtub while it was filling up, and she wasn't standing next to it, so she didn't notice for like 5 minutes. And so the Kindle was underwater for the entire time the bathtub was filling up. Maybe it wasn't 5 minutes, but however long it takes to fill up a bathtub, it was definitely more than a few minutes. So she had that issue happen, and that Kindle did not come back to life. But then I had a friend who dropped hers in the pool while she was reading. Like, she just happened to be reading on vacation, and she had a Paperwhite and she dropped it in the pool. It fell to the bottom, but she quickly retrieved it and kind of dried it out. And she said it's been totally fine since. So I do think that they've started to make them just a little bit more resilient, so they don't need that Oasis waterproof technology. And while this one does have the flipping, which I think is really the biggest selling point, this one didn't have the warm light, which I was reading Crescent City on it, and I was really missing the warm light because I felt like it was, again, just kind of like this one, tiring my eyes out a little bit. So here's why I think the Paperwhite is actually the best one. I have not had a regular Kindle, but my mom's had the regular Kindle. It's a little bit smaller and it doesn't wirelessly charge. Like this one, you can stick it on a wireless charging stand or even your Apple MagSafe little charger and it will charge. You can see on mine though, I have this little MagSafe circle and I've got all my stickers. I actually have some new stickers coming, so make sure you subscribe because I think I'm going to redecorate my Kindle. Feel free to come back for that, which will probably be in the next few videos. And also tell me if you have a favorite sticker on here in the comments. I've got some from Crescent City. I've got a couple Fourth Wings. I just have some regular reading ones. There's one in Elvish. There's another Fourth Wing. And then I've got there's Throne of Glass. I've got a couple that fell underneath this dragon. I'll have to dig those out. And I also have some new stickers coming, so we'll redecorate that soon. And that's the fun part of Kindles, right? Is you can really decorate them and make them your own. And there's this whole community where I love getting to see what other people have done with their Kindles. So it's really fun to customize. I am also going to be doing a video very soon on why I think Kindles are superior to physical books, because I just read a physical book, and you'll see that in my next vlog that I put out. Or if you're watching this later, it'll already be out, where I was trying to read a book physically and it just wasn't going well. I've realized I'm really a Kindle person. That's why I've collected so many over the years, and I can do this little comparison for you. I stuck this little magnetic thing on the back of mine, and I've got this little pop socket that actually has a stand. It says one more chapter. It's really cute. So this just goes on there. And then the cool thing is that this pop socket actually solves the issue of not really having this grip like the Oasis had with this little ergonomic thing that you can hold on to. And yes, you can't flip this upside down and have the text flip with it, but I don't really mind because with this pop socket, I can kind of hold it with this hand and have it be comfortable and feel like it's secure in my hand. And then I can actually do the same with this side as well. You can see, so it actually feels secure, like where I stuck it. You can choose whether you want to stick it in the middle or on one of the sides. And it actually feels pretty comfortable. And I can also use this little stand to stand my Kindle up, which I'm not sure if that would have worked as well since this is a bit unbalanced. I'm not sure. The stand probably would have been okay if you maybe stuck it on this side instead of the grip side, obviously. But I think that really what I'm saying here is that there are workarounds. And this one has that warm light feature, and I have the warm light set to come on automatically. Let me show you. So you just pull down for brightness. You can also do dark mode, which I think is great for your eyes. And I always forget that dark mode exists. And so you can also do dark mode. But anyway, so you pull down, you just turn off dark mode like that. And you can do brightness, you can do auto brightness, and then I have warmth scheduled to come on from 7 p.m. to 8 a.m. And I find that when I'm reading at night, that makes the biggest difference, because sometimes it can be really overstimulating, as you might know, if you're looking at a screen like your iPad or your phone at night. But having that warmth on, and let me just go ahead, maybe I can just override this and show you. If I just turn on the warmth, let's see if the camera picks it up. It kind of does. The camera doesn't really do it justice, to be honest with you. In real life, you can tell that it definitely gets warmer. And you can also do sunrise to sunset, I think. Here we go, automatic. Change warmth. It's going to allow location access. That's fine with me. And so now when the sun sets, it'll be a warmer tone. And when the sun rises, it will go back to its regular tone. So that is something that the Paperwhite has that the Oasis did not have. And that's why I prefer this one. And I also got the Paperwhite Signature Edition just because it had more storage and it had that wireless charging. And I have this cute little stand that sits on my bedside. And when it has the idle screen on, you can see that it shows the book you're currently reading. If you have the one with ads, it'll show an ad. But honestly, some people take the ads off, but I felt that it was kind of helpful because it was actually giving me book suggestions when I had, I originally had ads on this one, and then I paid to take them off later. So if you do get the version with the ads, you can always take them off later, but I wouldn't mourn the Oasis too much. I do think that probably means Amazon is coming out with a new version of a Kindle very soon. Also, I just think the Paperwhite is better anyway. So if you're really looking to get a Kindle, you can just kind of accessorize it and maybe get yourself a little pop socket, a little magnetic stand, because that's the other thing. When I want this to sit flat, then all I have to do, this thing has a really strong grip. There we go, which is good, but hard to get off sometimes. When you want it to sit completely flat, there you go. Or you could use the stand and the pop socket. And this also is MagSafe, so I can use this on my phone. So it's kind of double use, and I only have to have one. So it's pretty nice. So I would say farewell to the Oasis. You're a great device. I will still continue to use this one. Same with the Kindle Fire for other things. But I do really think that the Paperwhite is king at this point. And if you're really looking to buy a Kindle, I wouldn't be too upset. You could wait around and see what else they come up with. We'll see if they announce anything. And if they do, it'll be very exciting to see what features it has. But for right now, I absolutely love my Paperwhite. This is my emotional support Kindle that I take with me everywhere and that I read all of my books on. So I will leave some links in the description in case you want to DIY this little contraption so you have it for your Kindle. And then I'll also link which Kindle I have, which case, and some stickers as well in the description in case you're interested. So if you enjoyed any of this or you have any other questions about Kindle features, because I was thinking about doing a Kindle series, so I think this is going to be my very first video in my Kindle series. This is part 1, just comparing the different devices. I think part 2 will be Kindle tips, tricks, and features. And then part 3 might be convincing you why Kindles are better than physical books. So any suggestions, questions, comments, your opinions on the different devices, or if you have a different Kindle, like if you just have the regular one or the kids version, please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, because I'd be very curious to see if you think that any of those have any better or maybe even worse features than these ones. So thanks for watching part 1 in my Kindle series. If you want to check out more Kindle videos, I do have some on my channel. I have some where I unboxed this one and gave a 6-month review as well. So feel free to watch that next if you want some more Kindle content. And please like this if you found it entertaining. Subscribe to see part 2 and 3 and who knows how many more parts, because I'm obsessed with Kindles. So I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching.